Hey, what's up, everybody? Bro Trio here. In 2021, it wasn't the greatest year for games, and honestly, a lot of it was us dealing with our backlog. So it took us some doing to come up with our own personal lists for our games of the year for 2021. I mean, we were scraping the bottom of the barrel for some of them. Like, I literally put Pikmin Bloom on my list.
I did too.
And it wasn't even the lowest spot.
Yeah, I mean, I had Pac-Man 99 on mine.
To be fair, I love Pikmin Bloom. It's so fun to me.
I played a lot of old games, and that was most of what I did this year.
So, we'll preface this by saying we're going to have some honorable mentions for some games we wanted to play from this year that we didn't get to. So, I'm going to start things off talking about Kena Bridge of Spirits. This game looked like it had a lot of personality. It was a PS5 exclusive or timed exclusive or something.
Yeah.
It was a reason to justify my PS5, and I still didn't get it. But it's on my wish list.
Yeah.
I will get it soon.
It looked really charming.
Right, and it just looked really fun and like an interesting game I'd want to play.
I was going to honorable mention Guardians of the Galaxy. It looked really cool. It looked really fun. It looked very Guardians, and I just never got around to it yet. Have it at home, just haven't plugged it in yet.
And I'm going to say Cyber Shadow, because I'm a sucker for pixel art, and The Messenger was really great. It looks like an evolution of that concept with a little bit more Ninja Gaiden thrown in. You fight like robots and stuff. It looks really cool, but it just got overlooked with a lot of other things.
Yeah. It's made by Yacht Club Games. They rarely, if ever, disappoint. So
Yeah.
it's definitely on my list. I actually bought it recently. I forgot about it. But yeah, I'm going to play it soon. But that's our honorable mentions. One quick little shout out. We had Mario Golf Super Rush on the list, but Aaron actually played through some of his backlog from a game from this year. So Mario Golf got bumped off. But it was an interesting game. Not quite top 10 game of the year material. So moving on, the way we do our lists is, for those of you who don't know, we all come up with our personal top 15 and award those entries points, and then we conglomerate, is that the word?
Sure.
We conglomerate all the points into our own list with the what is the word? With the average score that ends up being our top 10 list. So that's how our list works. So that being said, let's get on with number 10 for 2021.
The game that I got into, I bought it on the Christmas sale because it was a good bit. I think it was 50% off or something like that, 30 maybe. Hot Wheels Unleashed. It bumped Mario Golf just right off the list because it has no right to be as fun as it is. That IGN score was accurate. It is fantastic. Everything flows really well, and there's not much you can say. Because
they have all the cars from our childhood.
Exactly. That's what I was gonna say. Like,
and this is not a slight against Mario Golf. It was up to par, but it wasn't quite a birdie.
But there's nothing like going up against like actual race cars and you're driving like a Stegosaurus.
Oh yeah.
And then you got like Snoopy cars and the Back to the Future time machine, and everything is lovingly crafted. It looks exactly like the Hot Wheels. The physics are a little funky, but it's to be expected because it's made for toys, so sometimes things just fly off the track like they do when you're playing with real Hot Wheels.
So I mentioned earlier with Kena Bridge of Spirits how I was looking for something to justify my purchase of a PlayStation 5. And I actually had that earlier in 2021 when I bought Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, and I loved this game from start to finish. It was a very fun and energetic time. It was probably, I'm going to give it the Bro Trio Award for best graphics of this year. And it had some of the weirdest, most creative guns that I've played with since like Borderlands. In the most charmingly cute way too.
Yeah, those guns look awesome.
I think one of my favorites, I forget what it's called. It was an ice gun, and it does no damage, but you can freeze stuff, and while it's frozen, stuff takes extra damage, and it does like really cool like haptic feedbacks with the DualSense controller, so like you can feel every bullet from like the pistol, and whenever you slam someone that's encased in ice, you get like a big like shiver vibration. It was really cool, and Ratchet & Clank was just really great from start to finish, and damn was it pretty, and I love dimension hopping so much.
One of the most interesting games I think I've ever played was Axiom Verge. And we finally got Axiom Verge 2 this year, last year. And it was great. It was not the same as the first one, and I really liked it for that, because the first one was all about, like, you found all kinds of weird guns, you were exploring this alien planet. This time, it's kind of like Chrono Cross, you accidentally end up in another dimension, and you have a melee weapon in this game. So it's kind of weird that it shifts that much. And the protagonist is very relatable. Like, things happen and she just reacts like a normal person would. Like, something crazy happens, she's just like, oh shit. And like, at one point, I'm gonna talk about one of the bosses because it didn't make our cut for Boss of the Year. But there's a part where you get tricked and the boss steals your body and runs off with it, but you have a fight with them in your body, but it's right next to a save point, so you're just killing each other and constantly respawning, and it's really interesting, and it's really a good like summary of the game, because it's confusing, it's interesting, but overall it's fun. And that's why I'm awarding Axiom Verge 2 the most confusing award, because it was very confusing, but in the best way possible.
One game I was not planning to buy, but ended up getting because it looked fun, and I was ready for another one because it's been a long time since I played one in this franchise. Since Far Cry 3, I've not played one. I played Far Cry 6 this year, and it was a absolute blast. Now, the guns were cool, the vehicles were cool, everything was cool like normal. But this time, it had a lot of cool buddies that you could get, a lot of cool animal buddies, and that's why we're giving it the Best Buddies Award. You had Guapo. He's a little crocodile that eats your enemies for you.
He's not little.
No good for stealth, but he got a gold tooth and he uses that thing. And then you've got Chorizo. He's a little wiener dog in a wheelchair. How can you not love that? In fact, that is the only thing he does, is makes people love him, and then you can sneak up and slit their throat, and he is overjoyed at the prospect.
So great.
Then you've got Boomer. He's from Far Cry 5. He came through. He got sent from Herc. There was a letter from Herc in the box with him, like, hey, here's my dog. He'll help win the revolution or something. Then you've got Chicharron. He is a rooster, and his mission to get him was the most batshit insane thing in that game. He hates fucking communism or whatever so much.
Don't you have to fight like a bunch of roosters on meth?
You have to fight like meth roosters. You have to fight a bunch of shit, and then you have to like go into the archives of the government buildings and destroy all these archives while it's playing this weird rock music with like a Hispanic flair to it, and singing like its vocals and everything. This rooster's just running around clucking and destroying these records, and all these people are rushing in, and the rooster will just get pissed off and go fuck them up and then get right back to fucking up their records.
That's amazing.
And then I forget the name, but you get this friggin' panther for like the last one.
Ghost Panther.
A Ghost Panther. They went straight fantasy with it, because like you bless if you bless all the temples or whatever across the island, the goddess gives you a fucking goddess ghost panther.
Wow. And
it's by far the best one.
And it comes with a wooden rifle that whenever you activate, and a Supremo.
Yeah.
That if you activate it and has a wooden rifle, like the Panther can just teleport and take out people. Silently, deadly, horribly, like, efficient.
And it would scare them off.
Yeah. But this wooden rifle, if you activate your Supremo, you like slit your palm open, and then smoke covers the battlefield. And with that wooden rifle, normally it sucks. but now you can shoot through walls and pretty much just one-shot stuff. It's so ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a revolver rifle or something. It's insane. Far Cry 6 was an absolutely insanely fun time, and adding all these buddies with all their different skill sets really let you play your own way. Far Cry's always been really good at letting you play your own way, but with these buddies, it only brought that to another level.
Early in 2021, I saw a trailer for a game that I immediately was like, okay, I need to put this on my radar. And right when it came out, I played it because it is a roguelike couch co-op, 4-player co-op adventure game akin to Link's Awakening and other Zelda games.
4 swords.
It's Rogue Heroes. This is the best indie of 2021. And Rogue Heroes is pretty much like Zelda meets D&D meets a roguelike, because you can choose different classes, you can choose different outfits and everything, different colors, but you also have to get the stuff to do it. And you level everything up with like some type of currency, and basically the roguelike aspects is if you die, you're dead. And if everyone dies, then you lose all your shit. But if you die, you're not quite dead yet, because your skull falls down and your teammates can pick up your skull and walk around with it until they find a resurrection altar where they can then revive you, and you're back and better than ever.
But only once.
That the altar works once and then it breaks. And we also found out the hard way, if you throw someone's skull too many times, it breaks, and then you cannot revive that person. So they're out until everybody's dead, or you're done with the dungeon, I believe.
Yeah.
But Rogue Heroes, we never beat it, which is weird, because it was so much fun. But we had a blast with this game, and I can't wait to get back into it and beat it, because we beat, like, I think the second dungeon, so we're about halfway through. We need to get back onto it.
For this next game, we're going to give it the most generic award we could possibly think of, and that is Best Party Game for Mario Party Superstars, because that's just what it is. This game was really fun top to bottom. I didn't expect really to ever get nostalgic about a Mario Party game, but they did it. They did it, remastering the old ones and bringing in mini games from some of the newer ones and everything, and modernizing everything from the controls to the graphics to everything. It was great. It was so much fun, and that's pretty much all we can say about it, is that it was really fun.
I would like to say that I'm so glad it wasn't just an HD port or whatever of the first Mario Party or the second or the third.
Yeah, no,
it's a collaboration of all of the classic
greatest
ones.
hits album, man. It's great. It's phenomenal, and Waluigi almost made our top 10 bosses list, because when he was computer controlled, he was such a bastard.
If anyone out there is a fan of the channel and has followed us for a while, you know full and well I love JRPGs. It is one of my favorite genres, and no other series really exemplifies the intricacy of JRPGs as much as Bravely Default. And Bravely Default 2 did that in the best way possible, because it wasn't like the greatest game of all time or anything. And
it was really good though.
It had a pretty good story for Bravely Default, and it once you get over like the overacting, like cheesy sort of voice acting, then it's all great, because the jobs were very inventive, and even put some, like, for any jobs that returned, they put new twists on the powers. So, like, Spell Fencer was a job from the first one, and you get something similar to it, but it's not at all the same.
Forgot about Catmancer. Was that in this one?
Catmancer was Bravely second.
Yeah.
That was not in this one. No. You get goofy ass gambler outfit where everybody has like a roulette wheel on their hat.
What the hell?
But
that's one thing. Like once I'm finished with Hot Wheels, I'm getting right back into that because I never did finish it yet.
These are so funny because they're all like the plot is like the crystals or the world will be destroyed and everyone's dead. But then you're like, I am the Catmancer.
Yeah, and everybody looks like...
Let me get in the rub-a-dub and go make some toys.
Yeah. And it doesn't help that the character designs look like everybody's grandma's ornaments.
Yeah,
like
precious moments.
Yeah. But the gameplay is where Bravely Default really shines. And honestly, a step further that I would say outshines the gameplay is the soundtrack. Because Bravely Default has always had an amazing soundtrack. You can really tell everyone in the orchestra or whatever it is they're playing this music, they are giving it their 210%.
Oh man, they're working their ass off.
And it comes out in spades. Bravely Default 2 probably had one of the best soundtracks of that franchise, and I just went through it, and I have been jamming to it for the past week constantly.
One of the most surprisingly good games that came out this year is the add-on that came with the re-release of Mario 3D World. Bowser's Fury was amazing. It's not the longest game, but everything that's there has been condensed and purified, and it, like, every aspect of it is fun. And the biggest thing, literally, in the game is Fury Bowser.
That thing so badass.
He's terrifying.
Oh yeah.
Because it's just like a doomsday clock, constantly there, waiting.
You hear the music and it starts raining and it's time to die.
Like, oh no, I need to hide somewhere until he's done.
You either die or you get in a kaiju fight with Bowser. Those are your options.
Oh, those fights were awesome though. Every single one of them, I loved fighting Bowser, especially the final battle. That was one of the most cinematic things I think I've ever seen in Mario, and
it ends in the funniest way
possible.
Oh my
god. The blessing dropping from the... Oh,
it's glorious. But this game, we're giving the best exploration, because that world was lovingly crafted, and Nintendo went all out designing every last bit of it.
Plus, everything's a cat.
I love fighting me some big monsters, and I love boss fights, and Monster Hunter Rise gave us both of those things in spades. That's why we're giving it the Best Bosses Award, because it's all bosses. It like you go from...
I mean, pretty much.
Yeah, you go from the little piddly ones to the big f***ing jet fighter dragons at the end of the game, and every time it's amazing. Like, at first we kind of were disappointed because we were like, I just wish it was harder, and then it immediately got harder if you saw our Romantic Rave.
Yeah.
So it went from like, well, this is fun, but damn, World was harder, to like so Monster Hunter World it's a joy to control. Like, that was always what kept me away from Monster Hunter until World, was how it controls and all the little systems and how painfully intricate everything seemed. So I never really got into it. I tried a few demos, but then World we got into, and then Rise we dove head first into. Because World we played for a little while. Rise, holy shit. That was most of our year, was playing Rise, and they just kept these updates coming. I wish they had a little more crossover content, but we got our cats turned into Sonic now, and that's pretty fun.
Yeah, you can dress like a Kuma.
You can dress like a Kuma and ride on Rush and have Sonic as your cat. And Monster Hunter Rise, it takes all the fighting styles, and they're all so different for every weapon. I believe there's 13 weapons, And they're all vastly different from each other, even if they're similar, like Lance and Gun Lance seem like they would be similar, but they're not.
Not at all.
The guns, the light bow gun, the heavy bow gun, not very similar at all. Monster Hunter Rise is excellent. It's all good bosses, and that's all it is, and that is pretty much why it made this list, because it's great bosses, great big monsters, and a lot of cool weapons to slice and dice.
Well, we're finally here at our number 1 game of 2021, and we've been waiting for this one for 11 damn years. So rightfully so, we are giving Metroid Dread the About Time Award, because this game took way too long to come out, but it found that super sweet spot where it took so long to come out, but it did not disappoint anybody.
Yeah.
On the other hand, it actually just super impressed a lot of new Metroid fans. Like, I've seen some people who've never played a Metroid game in their life. They just think it's the robot from Super Smash Brothers. And they played Metroid Dread and they were like, oh my god, this is amazing. And I know some people that have gone into, like, they got introduced to Dread and they went and played Super Metroid and are working on the Primes and stuff like that. And that is just a great thing to see, that not only the hardcore gamers are showing an interest in Metroid.
Yeah, that was part of what cut into my year for games, was they announced Dread, and we were screaming at the top of our lungs about it, and I was like, I need to go play all the 2D Metroids, because there's a few I haven't played, so that's what I did. Went and played every 2D Metroid.
Oh yeah, like there were several people, they bought a Wii U so they could play the old Metroid games.
Yeah.
Because that's currently the only way to purchase the stuff off of the Virtual Console.
Yeah. Zero Mission and Fusion were at the top of the Wii U eShop for a moment there.
Seeing the Wii U eShop update itself accordingly was so cool.
Seeing Metroid top any sales list is incredible. But Dread topped its own sales list when it came out for a little bit. It sold extremely well for a Metroid title, and I'm very happy about that.
I really liked that it was the other side of the coin, where everyone is just looking at any Nintendo franchise on Switch, they're just like, let's have it get the Breath of the Wild and the Mario Odyssey treatment, and just get a big blown out open world. And Mercury Steam got Metroid, and they were like, no, we're not going to blow it out. We're going to condense this down into a refined, well-oiled machine that you can sequence break, you can do it the way the game wants you to, and it is never not fun. Like, it is one of the most rewarding sequence loops in gaming, because like you get the cool counterattack. They definitely toned it down from Samus Returns, and you get just probably the fastest, most fluid combat ever.
Yeah, on our re-rank, I said that it is my favorite Metroid game, and I still mean it. A few months later, after thinking about it even, I still mean it. I think it's the best Metroid game.
It was probably one of the best moments in 2021 whenever that game came out, because we knew it was going to be good, but it was so funny because Metroidvanias had been popping up a lot in the indie scene in recent years, but it's like Nintendo saw that and they were like, hold my beer, we'll show y'all how it's done. And they definitely showed us, because Metroid Dread was game of the year in just about every facet, and that's why I'm just gonna cut off now, because I'm just gonna end up repeating myself, and then we're gonna replay Metroid Dread, not get to any 2022 games. So that being said, there's a lot of games we didn't mention, but ultimately 2021 wasn't the greatest year ever, but it definitely had a lot of glimmering diamonds in the rough. And we enjoyed most of what we played this year. So let us know what you have been playing, what you most enjoyed this year, because I have several games I just bought from wish lists because of y'all's comments from last year. Like Iconoclast, someone commented on that game, and Crosscode, that was another one. So be sure to let us know, because we take those to heart and we will put them on our wish list and play them eventually. That being said, thank you for watching, and be sure to stay tuned to Bro Trio for more 2021 coverage. We gotta talk about bosses.